Because we do not want to rush today's lesson, trust me when I say that. Dividing fractions is easiest. How you flip the second fraction of you? Multiply. Yes. Okay, awesome. So we're going to multiply by 4x cubed minus 8x squared all over x plus 3 times x plus 1. I'm going to just have you guys shout out to me. Now you know you factor it, correct? Each piece? Yeah. What did that piece factor to be? And then what did this piece factor to be? Okay. And then so what did this piece factor to be? Okay, good. And then this was already factored. All right. Now we factored it completely. We can divide out exact factors only. X plus 3 on top, x plus 3 on bottom, x minus 2, x minus 2. 4 and 2 become 2 and 1, correct? And then that's everything. So we multiply straight across on top. We have 2x squared. Let's leave it factored. And then x minus 2. And on bottom, all we have left was x plus 1. A lot of you got it right. Way to go. How we're going to be adding and subtracting rational expressions. So we know how to add fractions in general. When adding or subtracting fractions, we have to have a common denominator. So in 3/2 plus 4/3, let's just, okay, so just look up here. I'm doing this to make a point to you to help it click what we're going to do in a harder context. Don't we need a common denominator? Now, here's the thing. We want to use the least common denominator because then there's less simplification in the end. So we're going to make it 6, correct? This one has a 2. This one has a 3. That's the least common denominator of 6. So to make this bottom 6 when we multiply by 3. Now we can't just multiply by 3 or we've changed it. So we multiply by 3 over 3 because that's just a fancy 1. Correct, everybody? And then we'll multiply by 2 over 2 here. So right here we get 9 over 6 plus 8 over 6. Correct? Now we add straight across, but we don't add the bottoms. Correct? We all know that. So that would be 17 over 6. Does everybody feel good? So we don't add the bottom. Okay, just making sure. Now, right here, people might say, let's multiply this by 4, this by 2. That would not be the most appropriate way. Wouldn't it be better just to fix this one if possible? Can we make the denominator 4? So we'd only take this one and multiply by 2 over 2. So that would be 6/4. So we have 6/4 plus 1/4. So we only had to fix 1, which is fine. 7/4. Okay, we all feel good about that. All right, so we already talked about that. Okay, we're going to get started right away. We're going to start out with the secondary math 3 regular stuff and build up because it gets to be a lot more difficult. So starting out with this is really good. So we're with the front page. So problem number 1, we have 1 over a plus 1 over a. We have to have a common denominator. We do. So we can add now straight across. Add our numerator. We get 2 over a, correct? Everybody feeling good? We're done. That doesn't simplify anymore. Let's do another one. Number 2. Do we have a common denominator? Yes. So now we're going to add straight across and we get 38. And on bottom we have 2 y's. Now you would look and say, can I simplify that? That's what we learned how to do last time. Yes. 38 and 2 do simplify. You can simplify multiplication. So wouldn't that become 19 over y? That becomes a 19. That becomes a 1. Does everybody feel good? Okay, pretty easy. So go ahead and do this one quickly. What's our final answer? 1. Very good. Any questions on how we got 1? Okay, so here's a red flag problem. It's called subtraction. People always mess up on subtraction. Like, if you mess up on the test, it's probably going to be in the subtraction. Because here's why. We have a common denominator, so we can go ahead and combine the numerator, combine the top. But this is technically negative this entire side. So this is like having parentheses and multiplying by -1. Does everybody understand? You got to distribute that negative through. So on top, we really have this t minus 1 over here. And then over here, we now have negative t minus 1. And then it's all over the common denominator of t. Does everybody see how I distributed my negative through? So now on top, we'll combine like terms. T minus t is 0, and then -1 minus 1 is -2 over t. With subtraction, we've got to be so careful. Okay, next red flag problem is this one. This one gets people. I'm going to have you look up here for a second. So notice a lot of people will say those denominators are the same thing. Yeah, pretty much, but they're not, right? Now, what I want you to notice is this is not written in standard form, correct? So I'm going to show you my work. I'm going to actually rewrite this. We really have n over negative n plus 1. Then we have plus 1 over n minus 1. Now, once again, remember, anytime we have a negative in front, we would actually factor out a negative, right? So I'm rewriting this, showing my work. So I have an n on top, and I'm factoring out negative 1. So divide by negative 1, and left is n minus 1, correct? So that's what this piece became, and then we still have 1 over n minus 1. Now looking at it, what's my least common denominator? Negative 1 and n minus 1, right? Everybody? So now we need to multiply this one by negative 1 over negative 1, right? So we'll multiply by negative 1 over negative 1. So we still have n over negative 1 times n minus 1. And now we have plus negative 1 over negative 1 times n minus 1. Now we have a common denominator, so we can combine the top. So we're going to have n minus 1 on top. And on bottom, we have negative 1 times n minus 1. So what's the last step that we can do here? Simplify it. What's it going to simplify to become? Negative 1. You're right. Those divide out to be 1s. You guys are awesome. Okay, doing good. Okay. Let's do another one, then I'm going to let you go for it for a second. So looking at this one, my least common denominator. Now, a lot of people think, okay, I can just fix this to become a negative. I'm just going to multiply by negative 1. But that would be negative m minus 4, right? Yep. So that wouldn't work. So this has an m minus 4, and this one has an m plus 4. So that's our least common denominator. So we're going to multiply by m plus 4 over m plus 4, correct? Okay, because don't we need it to be n minus 4 and m plus 4 on bottom? Okay, now take my suggestion right here, right now. If you're ever multiplying anything with two terms, you've got to put parentheses. You're going to mess it up. You're not going to distribute correctly. So we're going to multiply this one by m minus 4 over n minus 4, just a really fancy one that we chose. Now, we've got to actually multiply that through and then combine like terms. So let's do it. M times 1 is m, correct? M times negative m is negative m squared. 4 times 1 is positive 4. 4 times negative m is negative 4 m's. I'm going to keep focusing on just this piece for a minute. So let's combine like terms. That's negative m squared minus 3m's, correct? Plus 4. Okay, sweet. Now I'm going to focus on this piece and distribute it through. So that's negative 2m squared and then plus 8m. Plus 1m, and then minus 4. Combine like terms, so that's negative 2m squared plus 9m minus 4. Now here's the red flag problem, isn't it? Subtract all of that. So we're subtracting all of that. Does everybody see how there's a lot of room for making small mistakes? So now we'll distribute that through. That's positive 2m squared minus 9m plus 4. So we still have this on top, negative m squared minus 3m plus 4, and now we can combine like terms on top. So let's start with m squared. We have 1m squared minus 12m's plus 8, and that's all over, and let's leave it factored. M plus, because in the end we're going to have to factor it anyways to see what divides out, if anything. So now there's our final answer as long as it doesn't simplify. So let's check here. What multiplies to be 8 and adds up to be negative 12? Nothing. So that didn't factor, so nothing divided out. Everybody understand? So that is our final answer. We didn't have anything to simplify. Does everybody understand though that my last step was checking to see if it did? Some will, some won't. Yes.
Can you still say as long as is negative?
Oh, back to your question. So unless I say restrict the values, restrict the domain, you don't need to worry about it. Good question. All right, so go ahead and do, I think you guys probably feel comfortable. So go ahead and do 20 through 28 and do 33. Ready, set, go. Everybody look. We have this plus this. Okay, don't we have a common denominator? So we have 2x plus 3 over 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. There's our answer, but we've got to factor it to see if anything divides out, right? So I'm going to give you like 35 seconds to factor that for me because I already have paid my dues. Just kidding, I'm not better than you, but I'm just saying I don't want to do it. I want you to factor it. Tell me what the factors to be. Go. Okay, so I see somebody got 2x plus 3 times. Sweet. So now we would say, okay, we have exact factors that divide out. So our final answer would be 1 over x minus 5. Everybody feel good about that one? Okay, we're not going to do the student example then. This would be the same idea. Let's do another one. Do you need to see another one like this? Or are you ready to try it? Remember with the bottom being a little weirdy weird? Okay, then I want you to try it right now. Go for it. Okay, so guys, we have 3x over x minus 5 plus 1 over negative x plus 5. So we really have 3x over x minus 5 plus 1 over negative 1 times x minus 5, correct? So we've got to multiply by negative 1 over negative 1. So that's negative 3x plus 1 all over negative 1 times x minus 5. From here, your answer would not be considered fully correct. I'd have to dock a little on a test. Now here's why. If we ever have a negative in front, we've got to factor it out. So we really have negative 1, and then that's really 3x minus 1, correct? All over negative 1 times x minus 5. So our final answer, those can divide out, would be 3x minus 1 over x minus 5. Right. Unless it didn't divide out, then it would be acceptable. Okay, so we're not going to do another one of those. Do you want to try one more like that, maybe? Like this one? Okay, go for it. Try to be honest, I don't even know because I need to do it. So don't we need to rewrite this though as negative x plus 3? So that's negative 1 times x minus 3. So are we multiplying this one by negative 1 over negative 1? So that would be parentheses negative 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. Did I make any errors yet? Okay, so then over here we don't need to multiply by anything, correct? So I'm going to erase this just so I have this lined up. Now, careful because there will be this subtraction sign. So this is negative x squared plus 3x. Do you guys see that I'm distributing? And then minus 4. Now let's combine like terms on top. Negative 3x squared plus 7x's minus 3, correct? You had it, right? Nice. And then on bottom, here's the catch though. On bottom, don't we have negative 1 times x minus 3? Now, don't we have a negative in front? Gotta factor that out then. So we'll factor out negative 1, and left is positive 3x squared minus 7x. You're gonna get it all on the online homework if you don't go all the way. Plus 3, and then that's all over negative 1 times x minus 3. Now don't those divide out? So then we would have this as our final answer, but we would have to make sure that doesn't factor. Well, multiplies to be 9 and adds up to be negative 7. Nothing. So we're done. Good thing it didn't factor, and I didn't want to keep going. Questions? Okay. How about you guys go for number 1 on that second, on the advanced worksheet. Ready, set, go. You all got to the point of this at least. 30 plus 8x over 20x squared. Then on top you factored out a 2. That left you with 15 plus 4x all over 20x squared. Now because they're multiplied, those divide out to be 1 over 10. So then we're good. You need to make, what you did was unaccidentally multiply this by 4x squared, but we are, like, that's not the least common multiple. So you're not wrong, Luke. You just would have had an extra x and simplified yours only. Does that make sense? You have extra simplification. That's not what we multiply by. It should be just 15 plus 4x. Sorry about that. We're all feeling okay? Okay. Okay, so how about everybody look up here? Can you do this one? Yeah? Right? Okay, so then if you're feeling good about all of these, you're sure you don't need any more examples. Okay, but I want to make a point. Look at one more. Just look at one more. I won't go all the way through it. Everybody back up here. Okay, everybody back up here. I should only have to say that once. So we have x plus 5 over a minus 2. We don't want to multiply just by a squared minus 4, guys. That's going to give us so much worse of a problem, and you're going to end up getting it wrong. You need to multiply by the least common denominator. So really, we have minus 5a plus 18 over, this needs to be factored, a minus 2 times a plus 2. Does everybody understand? So now, do you see how that's only one fix? You'd multiply this side by a plus 2. But do you see how if you don't have it factored and just start doing, oh, this, I'm going to multiply by this one, by this one, this one, by this one, it's going to be a mess. So we're going to multiply by a plus 2 over a plus 2, and then we're going to continue. And I won't continue if you all understand what to do from here. We're good? Okay, I'm going to let you guys practice then. So do on the advanced worksheet, I want you to do 3 and 4, then check them with me.
Over x minus.
Yeah, it's 14. Good point. Okay, were you guys able to get that one? Now on top we would try factoring by grouping because there's 4 terms, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I tried it in my head. So I pulled out 4, left was 4x squared, pulled out a 5. Do you get what I'm saying, everybody? Okay, so that would be our answer. Okay, I just want to make sure you have enough examples that you're good for the homework. Is everybody good with those two? Okay. Yep. Okay, we're going to look at number 10. I'm going to actually give you a minute. Do number 10. Now, one thing to note on 10. 7 over x plus 7 minus x over x minus 7 plus 2x over, we got to factor that to be x minus 7 times x plus 7. So now, aren't we only going to fix a couple of these? This one needs an x minus 7, right? This one needs an x plus 7. So you guys keep going. Give me a final answer in the most simplified form. Subtraction. Go, 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 go. Yes.
That has my notes. I need some money. Please, Cheryl. You can appreciate that.
So is your issue with the negative most likely? Yes. Did you get that fixed? Okay. So we have on top negative x squared. We have plus 2x minus 49. Did you get it? Awesome. Okay. Number 12. Everybody look up here before I let you go for it. Okay? So if you ever see something like this, you're going to see some stuff like this. So, first of all, make sure you don't make the sad mistake of thinking you can use properties of exponents. This is a subtraction, so you can't just raise that or raise that to the negative 2 power. So we can fix this, because don't you make this a positive exponent by flipping it over a fraction. So that's a minus b positive 2, right? Minus 1 over a plus b to the positive 2. So we really just have this, 1 over a minus b times a minus b, minus 1 over a plus b times a plus b. Right? So that's not too bad. This one's going to need an a plus b times a plus b, right? Over that again. I don't want to write it again. And then this has an a minus b times a minus b. And then all over that, same thing. So now right here, here's the thing though, guys. We've got to actually distribute. Isn't that the goal on top, is distribute and combine like terms? So why don't you try to continue that? Subtraction, do that last. So distribute, combine like terms, then distribute the negative. Let's see if you can get it. Push yourself, be careful. Okay, everybody look at this one. This one looks a lot harder than it is. It's on your second page of your worksheet. Everybody, here we go. Flip to the second page. No. You guys are awesome. Okay. Go through the work with him sometimes. Okay. So everybody look up here. This one looks a lot. This is actually one of the easier ones that we've done. It looks harder just because you've got to be like, where do I start? Now think about it. If this polynomial divided by this polynomial subtract this polynomial. This is a really good problem because it's testing everything. It's actually one of the easier ones. Doesn't division in order of operations come before subtraction? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So let's go ahead and divide these two. Let's focus on this piece and simplify it. Flip the second and multiply, right? So we have it, we're going to, like right here, I factor out of 2, left is x plus 5. Right here we have x minus 1. I flip the second, so this is going to come on top, right? Everybody? That factors to be x minus 1 times x plus 1. And then on bottom we have an x plus 5. So do you see how that was actually pretty easy? Let's divide out exact factors. Ding, 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 ding. And then what's left? 2 times x plus 1. So we have 2 times x plus 1. And now we're subtracting 4 over x plus 1. Now we know how to continue. We got to get a common denominator. So we're going to multiply, this is 1, so we're going to multiply by x plus 1 over x plus 1. Parentheses. So I'm going to go ahead and go like this. I'm going to be really careful and be smart about my algebra here. Let's distribute 2 into one of those. So we have x plus 1 times 2x plus 2. Now let's distribute that. Sorry. 2x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 2. So isn't that 2x squared plus 4x plus 2? So we have minus 4 from over here, right? That was the top, and then all over x plus 1. We got to combine like terms. So we have 2x squared plus 4x minus 2 divided by x plus 1. Now we've got to see if the top factors, right? What multiplies to be -4 and adds up to be 4? Nothing. So we're done, right? Not as bad as it looked originally. Okay. Number 10. It looks a lot harder than it is. Now there's a couple of different ways you could do that one. I don't know if we should spend too much time on that one. Do you want to go through it, or like see how we'd start it?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just practice a few on the first one? Well, there's a couple different ways we could go about this one. What I would probably do is focus in right here and get a common denominator, make it one fraction. That's what I would do. So maybe you should start doing that. Focus right here, get a one fraction. I'm not going to do it for you. I want you to do it, but I told you where to start, so start going. You're going to tell me in a second what you got in there. You're going to tell me what you got. That one should be pretty quick. So Luke thinks the top in parentheses is y minus x over, yep, xy or yx. That works for me. That is correct. Okay. Did we all get that in that? What do we get over here? X plus y over xy. Now, don't we multiply straight across? So continue the problem. This one isn't easy. You guys are doing good. This is going to be double distribution and whatnot. What did you get when you multiplied this straight across? So you got x. But we're multiplying, right, Luke? So x, y, and then x, negative x squared, right? Okay, negative x squared plus y squared. That is true. Because our middle terms will happen to cancel out, correct? And then that's all over xy. Were you able to get that part? And then divided by, right here, you have x squared. And then once again, your middle terms cancel out. So we have x squared minus y squared over xy. Because we multiply straight across. Now dividing fractions is easiest by the second fraction multiply. So we have negative x squared plus y squared over xy times xy over x squared minus y squared, right? Oh. Now I think over here they said -1. You were right, dead on. Because if we have a negative in front, so right here now we have negative x. I'm going to write down the word. Negative x squared plus y over x squared minus y squared. So we have factor out that -1. Left is x squared minus y squared. And on bottom we have x squared minus y squared. Whoa, I did not see that coming. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Nice job. Yes.